Hello, everyone. Derek Floyd, in the Air Beautiful Now podcast. Welcome to another edition of Chasing the Impossible. This is the segment where I interview special guests who happen to have accomplished impossible things along the way to share their story with you, to let you know how big your dream is, no matter how crazy it can may seem, how impossible it may look to you. If they can accomplish their dream, guess what? You can accomplish yours too. And if you enjoy this kind of content, do me a favor. Pause right now. Hold on. Stop. Hit me with a subscribe or a like to the channel. This lets me get the most updated content to you as soon as it's available. And most importantly to me, if you really enjoy this kind of positive, encouraging content, share it with a friend. Because we want to make sure everybody leaves uplifted, encouraged, and inspired. Now, today's special guest is, of course, a friend of mine who's been able to work with the likes of Kirk Franklin, Fred Hammond, Whitney Houston, Yolanda Adams, just to name a few. And when you think of gospel legends who've been recording, producing, and working with other artists, this person is going to stand out supreme. I mean, he's worked with choirs in his space, he's put together his own projects, and of course, he's been a teacher to so many. And so many revere him as one of the best in the business. So will you please help me welcome my good friend to tell his story, Mr. Percy Bady. P. Bady, are you there, brother? Talk to me.
I'm here, Derek, man. Thank you so much.
Man, it's good to see you, brother.
It's great to be seen, man, and it's great to see you as well.
It feels like it's been like 100 years since I've been in your presence, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah. This world, it's been a crazy place for a minute.
It has, man, and everything has flown by so quickly. COVID came and went. It's kind of changed the whole world, right?
Yeah, it has, man. But thank God that we're still here, man, and we still get a chance to be a light.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And let me throw a couple of facts to the people that are watching. Maybe they don't know. You were episode number 2 of Chasing the Impossible. And we've been doing this segment now since August of 2020. So you were the second episode. So we got to give you some of this for that. Come on, go ahead. You come back to help us out.
That's right. That's right. That's
And now
right.
you're coming back as episode 54. What's up with that,
Man,
right?
man,
Come on.
man, 54, bro. You've been
54.
you've been you've been grinding, bros. You
Man,
rocking.
trying to get it done. And you're following some of the biggest music legends just like yourself. We just recently had Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis on, Teddy Riley, John P. Key, and now we are stepping right into you as one of the legends in the game. So man, thanks for coming by and just showing us all that.
Oh no, man! Thank you for having me, man. And what great company to be in, huh?
Yes, sir.
Man,
Yes, sir.
Lewis, Teddy, and
Come on,
man,
John P.
and
Key.
John
You
P.
can't get a
Key,
whole lot
man.
better than that, right?
Man, you cannot get better than that, man. John is like my brother. Man.
Oh, John is good people's, man. That's a good dude right there. Yes, sir. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So a
Yes,
lot's
sir.
happened since then, man. We talked about. I mean, so much has happened since the time we started off together, and as of late, you released a new project, "Love Never Dies." Man, tell me a little bit about this track and what made you decide to step out again and drop another solo project.
Well, man, when producers do records, I don't think we're doing records to prove anything. I think we're doing them because we have something that we want to say, and we want to say it the way that we want to say it. And for me, this was um, my way of saying something that I think we've all kind of discounted. Man, the power of love. And I had a good friend of mine who I mentored. His mom transitioned from cancer,
Hmm.
and he was so distraught by it, man, and I was too. Because we were praying, man, that God would heal her, man, and so when it didn't happen, man, he was just devastated, and
Hmm.
all I could do was say to him, man, just tell him, man, that man, no worries, man, the memories you have of your mother, man, that'll never die, man, the love you have for your mother, it'll never die,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
and therein, was the birthing of this song. So the heart on the cover you see has a bunch of names in it, and those names are people that have affected my life in one way or the another, but who
Mm,
have transitioned. Who have transitioned.
mm, mm.
So I wanted to pay tribute, you know, to those people, man.
That's powerful. That's powerful. So I was saying, you've had this, you put together this project, and is there another, as producers put together other projects like your Percy Bady experience, Kingdom? What was the second one?
Kingdom
Kingdom
inspirations.
Inspirations. Is there another full project on the way? Is that what we're looking for?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Well,
Okay.
this
Okay.
song is leading up to the project called 28 Days: The Journey. And
Love
28 Days: The Journey represents my journey through prostate cancer treatment.
it.
It features music that was written and inspired by that journey. And
Wow.
there's also a mini movie that'll be attached to that as well.
What? You going into
Yeah,
the
so
film business, huh?
yeah, yeah, I'm going into the film business, man. Uh, you know, when I was going through my treatments, man, every day I filmed. I
Mm,
filmed myself going to
wow.
treatment, and I would just talk, just candidly, openly,
Mm,
transparently talk, man. Talk about what I was feeling at the moment. You know, some mornings, man, there was tears.
mm, mm.
Some mornings there was anger. Some mornings it was a myriad of emotions, man. But it was all because um, I think what happens to us sometimes, man, is that um, sometimes we hide these things, man.
Mm,
Um, when there's a benefit to allowing others to see you
mm.
and how you walk through moments of being challenged.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll say
Yes.
it like that. I think there's a grand benefit to that. There's a grand
Mm,
benefit to allowing people inside to see inside of what it feels like and what it looks like for somebody who's going through a challenging moment in their life, basically fighting for your life.
wow. Wow. Wow, that
You
is
know,
powerful, man.
prost-
That is powerful.
yeah, prostate cancer has killed people.
Yeah, man.
And what many don't know is prostate. You don't have to die from prostate cancer.
Mm,
You
amen.
don't. Early detection
Mm.
is everything. And
Receive that.
so
Receive that.
yeah, I'm an advocate. I'm an advocate, man, for encouraging men to get their PSAs checked annually, um, and to make sure, man, they're staying on top of that because um, African American men especially
Mhm.
die more from prostate cancer than any other genre, man.
Okay. Okay. That's wisdom.
You
That's
know,
wisdom. Man, thanks for sharing that with us. And that's a somber moment, but to be realizing that's true. Everybody out there
yep,
listening, man, especially if African American man, be checking your prostate, making sure you're early detection, early cure. And I
that's
look
it.
for I look forward to hearing your story. I knew that you walked through it, but I'm sure it's going to be a whole different vision to see it on camera. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be interesting, man. We're doing like docu style.
Yeah.
Um, but the truth of the matter is, I didn't want it to be a downer.
Right.
I wanted
Right.
to really be about hope and about life and about
Yes. Yes.
fun and living, man, and understanding that, man, you can have a trial, but you can still smile.
Yes, sir.
You know,
Yes, sir.
you can
Yes,
have
sir.
you can have a challenge,
Hmm.
but guess what? You can still, laugh about it. You can still walk through it with the hope that knowing that the only way that I'm gonna get through it is I got to go through it. You know.
Yes, that's what chasing the impossible
Yep.
is all about, man. Reminding you that no matter how impossible that thing may seem, you can get there. It's on the other side. It's
Yep.
on the other side.
Yep.
Speaking of impossibles, man, we as a nation, we as a world, faced this crazy COVID pandemic nonsense, man. And it changed everything, shutting down concerts and the whole nine. And we're like, wow, the way music was consumed has changed. And on a personal level, how did COVID affect your personal career? How did everything change for you?
Well, I mean, you said it best, man. There was no concerts, no, churches were shut down, and Man, no venues open, and so what it caused me to do, man, and I think it caused a lot of us to do, was to pivot,
Mm.
learn to pivot, man. And of course, Zoom was happy because Zoom became the de facto um, tool to use,
Yeah.
man, to connect, not just
Hmm.
with people in your city, but connect across the globe.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so, and Zoom became this way of life for us for a minute, man. And down to the point, man, where you even start seeing people doing concerts in their house via Zoom.
Yeah, man.
People performing live, via Zoom. And so I think what it taught most of us was that, um, you know, there'll be times in your life you're gonna have to learn how to do um, things a little bit differently, man. and
That's for sure.
and to find, and the other part, I think, for me, for instance, I was able to learn some other skill sets,
Mm. Mm.
during that time, because
Yeah.
obviously you're not out performing, not out playing.
Hmm.
But now, it gave me an opportunity to sit with, various softwares and
Hmm.
various things, man, and figure out how to do certain things. And now, we got a whole world of people making money, man, with Patreon and
Yeah.
uh, Twitch,
Co-
Twitch.
Content creators are out there.
Yeah, it's like this content creator thing has gone crazy.
Hmm.
So,
Anybody with a
um,
phone and a dream can get out there and make their way.
hey man, that's all it takes. That's all it takes, man.
No, I was saying, so for you, you had to pivot to learn other skills to broaden what you
Hey,
do. You had to do
yeah,
more.
yeah. Had to learn to do more, but during I want to say the first 6 months of COVID, I couldn't do anything anyway. I had just finished my last cancer treatment,
Mm.
and prostate cancer treatment, and I had to be still anyway, and I needed to, allow my body time to kind of heal up and restore. Radiation takes, over time, radiation takes your energy,
Mm. Mm.
zaps you, because you're being zapped.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and so that was a pretty challenging time for me.
Wow.
But it
Wow.
was also a very interesting time in that, um, like I said, I learned to pivot. I had to
Mm.
learn to pivot.
Mm. And that word I've heard a lot from a lot of people was pivot. When things, when you land at a spot, and you're like, okay, I can't go any further than here, and I can't go backwards. I got to pivot. Got to make a change. Got to do it differently. Got to think of things
Got
out
to
of the box, so to speak. So I'm
got to
glad
do
you're
it
able to
different.
do that. That makes a big difference. And most of the people that did pivot found themselves in a better space after COVID was over. You
Yeah,
found yourself in a better
yeah,
position. So, the best in the best always learn how to pivot when things get crazy, when things aren't
yes,
working.
sir.
They learn how to pivot.
That's great.
Um,
That's
you
true.
know,
That's so true,
speaking of
man.
that, you work with so many young artists and producers out there. They're all going independent because of this direct to consumer type model now. Everybody's doing it. You got the Spotify's out there, Tidal, and all these companies that are allowing artists to just go direct. And you think, is the whole record deal model gone? Is that obsolete? I mean, do you still need a major label to make a living as an artist or producer?
Well, they've been dinosaurs. Honestly, to me, they've been dinosaurs. I think the thing is that you can't discount the fact that they are a machine.
Hmm.
They are machines, and the power, the resources that they have. are unmatched. But being the fact that social media became such a strong and powerful way of connecting with an audience that you would otherwise not be able to connect with, now, um, they found a way to tap into that even, to try to stay current. Um,
Hmm.
the model, the typical label model deal, I think it still exists. Um, but for, it's not for everybody. I'll say it
Sure,
like that.
sure,
It's not
sure,
for everybody, and I don't think they want just anybody. I think it's because if it has to do anything with investing in anybody or investing in a project or investing in something, it has to be something that they already believe is viable and has commercial value beyond what they can physically see, at that moment.
sure.
They can foretaste. There's some data
Hmm.
that reflects that if we do this and we do that, then this can be our result down here in the end.
Hmm.
And so, but what I love about being the independent, though, is the fact that you get to make your own decisions, you get to create your own body of work,
Hmm.
uh, and you get a chance to kind of be your own, be your own,
Your own record executive, your own
yeah,
marketing team, your
your
own
own
testing market,
marketing.
all of
I
that, man.
mean, you get to be all of these things, but that could be a curse too, because the reality is you don't want to be a jack of all trades and a master of none.
Come on
And
now.
so at some point what you have to do is now you've got to like suss out people
Hmm.
who have the skill set you don't have, that you're not
Yeah,
as good as. And
yeah,
there's been plenty of those relationships, formidable relationships that have happened, over the last couple of years,
hmm,
that have yielded some great results. Hey, I've got the artistry. Hey, he's got the marketing. Hey, she's
sure,
got this.
sure.
And you bring it all together and you basically have a label, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
And so the only thing missing is distribution. But now with DistroKid and
Hmm.
Title, I mean, not Title, but
Spotify,
DistroKid,
yeah,
Deezer,
Spotify. You can put it on there for sure.
Spotify, all of these now, with all of those, you can do your own thing. The only
Yeah, man.
thing that you got to consider though is you're not the only one. You're
Yeah,
one in hundreds of thousand songs that are being uploaded
yeah,
daily.
yeah.
Spotify has over 100,000 songs being loaded up daily.
Wow, 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 wow. I didn't even know there's that many
And
songs.
yeah, I guarantee you, and I guarantee you, out of those 100,000, probably 70 to 80% of those are not being heard by the major marketplace.
Sure, sure. So then the answer
75.
is, as an indie, there is lots of benefit. There is a direct to access to consumer, but to really break out, so to speak, you may need that major record label to be seen above the foray, above the noise, maybe. You know,
There you
not
go.
everybody's Justin Bieber and they go viral or whatever. It doesn't always happen that way. So I think
Yeah.
of that whole thought process like Prince was trying to tell us before he passed. He's like, you need to own your masters. The record label is taking what your work and pimping you out for it, and you're getting pennies on the dollar for what you've earned. It's your craft, it's your art, but yet they're making the majority. Now, when he finally
Well, they're
got on
still
that, yeah,
they're still pimping us, bro.
yeah,
They're still. Let's face it.
yeah,
What do we make from a stream?
yeah,
I had a song.
dot
I
dot
had a
dot
song
oh
do it.
one.
Yeah, I had a song do a million streams last year, and that wasn't even $4,000.
Wow, wow.
From a million streams, bro.
So somebody's still pimping us out somewhere.
There you go, man. I'll say it like this: the guy that owns Spotify is worth $3.84 billion or something like that.
Wow, wow. Well, that You listen to it out there, indie folks. It's a different world. There are pluses and minuses for both sides. So there is no perfect equation. No perfect equation.
That's it, man.
You
There
know.
is no perfect equation. You just find what works for you, man, and it's about finding your niche, finding your
Yeah.
crowd, man, finding your tribe.
Finding your tribe.
Finding
Finding
your
your
tribe.
tribe.
Seth Godin wrote a book called Tribes, man, and in that book he talks about you have to galvanize a group of people who believe, who trust, and who are going after some of the same things you're going after.
Mm,
And you galvanize and you go and you do that together.
mm,
And when you do it together, man, there's a synergy, there's a
mm.
power there, man, that allows you to share each other's, the weight of this journey, but at the same time, you share the victory,
Yeah.
you know?
Wow.
You share
Wow.
the
Wisdom.
victory.
Wisdom. Wisdom on that. We'll give you one of these on that. Wisdom on
I,
that.
thank you. Thank you.
you know, I'm gonna go a little deeper on you though. This is definitely where you land. You know, as you look at the gospel music industry as a whole, especially over the last few years. You know, some have seen saying they think we've gone too far to the secular side, or how we deliver our message, and we're pimping everything out on the new bling on the shows now, so on and so forth. You know, and this has long been a complaint of the religious community that we're watering down the message or making it too secular. Where do you feel like you stand on the this discussion of sacred versus secular, and can producers and artists actually work in both fields and be okay?
Well, for me, man, I take my cue from Jesus and his journey. Um, Jesus didn't hang out with the most savory characters, you know. Um, some of the people that, I remember going to a men's retreat one time and they was like, "We want y'all to write down some of the characteristics of some of the characteristics you think that the disciples had that were with Jesus." And you know, everybody's writing things down, and so they asked the question, "So what did you think?" When some guy said, "Well, somebody that prays all the time, somebody who loves, and somebody who's gracious and nice." And he flipped the board over, and the board says, "Thief, murderer,
Mm,
robber,
mm,
cusser, liar."
wow.
These
Wow.
were the characteristics of the disciples.
Mm,
And so when I look at that, I understand now that healthy people are not in need of a doctor.
come on now.
You know, it's those who are sick that need a doctor.
Mm,
And
mm,
so we cannot continue to think that we can stay within the four walls of the church and make an impact on the world, as the Bible declares that we are supposed to go ye into all the world,
mm,
and that means marketplace. That means in the business world. That means inside of, schools. We're supposed to go into all of this, man,
yeah.
and let
Yeah.
our light so shine, that man may see our good works and glorify the Father. But if we stay inside the four walls, then we don't have a impact. And
Mm,
so at one point, you know, my career, man, I wouldn't do anything that was secular. I wouldn't
mm,
touch it. And it was not because I had valid reasons for it. It was because I did it because my dad said, "You're not supposed to touch the world. Touch not the world, the things of this world, blah, blah, blah." This is the
mm,
scripture that they use to keep you hostage
mm,
inside the church. And it wasn't until, man, I started unpacking that for myself and really studying that for myself that I realized, man, we've been taught wrong. We've
mm,
been we've been led about what it really means to be a disciple and what it really means to be a follower of Christ, man. The true meaning of following Christ means that if I follow him, then I should act like him. I should look like him. I
Hmm.
should, my actions should reflect, not my
True.
mouth,
Right.
because there are a lot of us, we talk the talk, but the real test is, are you walking the walk?
Yeah,
You know,
for sure on that.
that's the real testament, man, is, are you walking the walk, man? And so for me, um, it was my assignment to go out into the secular world. It was
Mm,
part of my assignment. When I
okay.
accepted it, it was part of my assignment. It was part of what God felt like he could trust me to do, and that I would not succumb to that world based upon um, whatever it was,
Yeah.
however glamorous it was, however enticing it was, however, the money was.
Mm,
Um, he felt like he could trust me with it, man, and so I worked in that world, but I worked in that world and as an example,
mm,
and it's not for everybody. I will tell you that.
mm,
It's
mm,
not it's not for everybody. But if you have a solid foundation and really understand who you are, because many have gone into that world, man, and lost who they are.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And that
So
that brings us to the question, because the next question comes in with, we've seen so many gospel artists appear to be all about the flash and the fame. They become the Christian celebrities, so to speak, and it all becomes about their bling and all the nonsense. And it feels like the message of Christ takes a back seat to their celebrity at that point. What message do you have to those artists or producers or anybody that's walking that line that seems to have lost the original mission of Christ at that point? I mean, they're walking around with the gold bling and they're living in the whole high life, but somewhere they've missed it. What do you think?
man, I only thing I would say is I'm not one to judge or pass judgment, but I am one who is a fruit inspector. And the Bible declares, you shall know them by their fruit.
Mm,
And um, truth be told, brother, um, when the message is no longer more important um, than who you are as a messenger, then we've lost our moral compass theologically. We've lost it. Um, the message has always got to be the center of attention, man. It cannot be. Um, it cannot be. Look at my cars. It cannot be. Look at me. I'm winning all these awards. It cannot. It cannot be about that. Is there something wrong with driving nice cars? No. Is there something wrong with winning awards? No, not at all. But when that becomes your God and that becomes your focus, man,
mm,
then you're in a dangerous place. And so the truth of the matter is God didn't call us to awards.
mm.
He didn't
Wow.
call us to cars and big houses.
Wow.
He called us to souls.
Mm, mm,
He called us to souls, man. And if by chance in your journey you're afforded the opportunity to have cars or houses or whatever, I believe the only reason why God would allow any man to prosper beyond what he can hold in his own hands and what he can manage is so
mm,
he can give to those who are without.
mm, mm. I
You
love
know,
that. I love the way
I'm
that
convinced.
comes together from your spirit. Wow, it's powerful. It's powerful, powerful. What's the scripture that says, if the salt loses its flavor, what good is it? You
What
know,
good is it?
it feels like if we lose the salt in what we're doing, then, don't put the spice on there at all. So,
Don't put it on at all, brother. Don't put it on at all.
man, speaking of calling and these people that have been called to do what they're doing, I know, we shared off and on that one of your callings in your careers is to teach and guide and show this next crop of up and comers, these new producers, artists that want to walk into the industry, kind of how to get this right, how to walk this through. And do you feel like maybe at this stage of your life now that there's a few P. Bady proteges out there that have that you're pouring into and that we're about to see? Is it working the way you thought it would?
It's been challenging, man, but yeah, there's a few guys, man, that I've been pouring into and spending time with over the last few years, man, and one of them I'm very, very, very proud of him, and he's getting ready to make his mark. And the other two are coming along slowly, but they're gonna make their marks as well, man, and um, it's important to me to mentor. Every person should have three people in their lives: a person that you look up to, a person that you're walking through life with side by side, and a person that you are pouring into. And
Mm,
I've always, always had that person in my life that I felt like, you know, I need to pour into, that I need to share what it is that um, how I got to where I am,
mm,
and how I've handled things, and how I handled myself. And not that I was perfect or anything of that nature,
mm.
but the truth of the matter is man, um, we don't lose, we win or we learn.
Ooh, we never lose. We either win or we learn. Love that. I'm gonna steal that. I'm just
So
telling you that right
so I'll just say I've had a lot of learning in my life.
now. Yes.
I've had a lot of learning, a lot of
Yeah, man.
man, things that taught me, and so because they were things that taught me, I felt like it was important that I shared it with the next generation, man. When you
Mm,
add value to others, it's impossible to not add value to yourself.
so good, so good, so good. I'm waiting for
Mhm.
these new proteges, man. I know you got a stable of folks you poured into, so I've been waiting for these cats to just jump out and hit the industry. So keep us posted
Oh
over
yeah,
here at the Beautiful Now podcast. So we can get them on the segment and let them share.
definitely will,
You know, because
definitely
I know
will.
you. I know you'd never stop doing it. I know you haven't. So
No
it's a
sir.
blessing. It's a blessing.
Yes sir.
Speaking of that, over your career, you've worked with so many because you work with the proteges, but you've also worked with some of the heavy hitters in the planet, the Fred Hammonds, the Whitney Houstons, Yolanda Adams, the Kurt Franklins, on and on and on. I mean, you've been with some of the best. Can you share a lesson or two that maybe working with top artists like this of this caliber that you can try and share with the up and comers to let them know this is what it's about. This is how you should be looking at things.
Um, sure, man. I think one of the most important things is to understand um, that how you carry yourself when you're working for these people means everything, because when you're out with them, you represent them.
Mm,
And so it's one thing to be talented and to be incredibly and super duperly talented, but it's another thing to have good character,
mm, mm.
you know.
Talk about that,
And
man. Good character.
that that's important, because when you represent these artists, you know, man, sometimes you're speaking for them, not knowing that you're speaking for them by how you
Hmm.
act, and so I've learned to carry myself in a way that was respectful, and at the same time, yet um, it was still me being who I am without compromising who I am, but knowing that how I handled myself determined the next job.
So good.
Oh,
So good.
how I handle this particular one, it determines how I'll go into the next one, or even if there'll be a next one.
Wow. Wow.
It's
Mm,
it's so important about that, and the usual things, making sure you're on time,
mm,
making sure you're prepared, and know the music beforehand. Any
mm,
artist that I've ever wanted to work with, produce, write for, I studied them.
mm,
I studied Yolanda before I worked with Yolanda. I studied Fred before I worked with Fred. I met Fred. When I met Fred, Fred was the bass player for the Winans, and he was about to
mm-hmm.
he was
Yep.
about to leave the Winans and getting ready to start commission.
Wow.
And
Wow.
I've followed these people and studied these people and learned what I could about them. So when it came time, man, to work with them, you kind of already had an idea of what their taste was.
Mm, mm. I
Hmm.
love that. Love
Yeah.
that. Love that. That's just good wisdom, youngins. Y'all keep listening. Especially these young producers that I feel like they get out here and they get a little taste of something. They think they're great, but they could ruin it by how you say how they act or how they treat the next person or how they come in with their attitude and all that. And they may be extremely talented, but if their attitude ain't right or they give a wrong impression, you only get one first impression. That's an old school saying, but you only get one, man. And
You only
people are
get
like,
one,
I
brother, and
can't.
that's that my gift taking me where my character can't keep me.
Say that one more time.
My gift taking me where my character can keep me.
Come on now, y'all. I hope
See,
y'all
our
listen to
gifts,
that
see,
one.
our gifts opens doors,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but our character can close the doors.
Oof. Write it down, y'all. I'm gonna go back over this one and write that one down. I'm writing that one down. Writing that one down. Good wisdom. Good
Yeah.
wisdom. Good wisdom. Uh, and man, you've worked with, like I said, you work with the best. You work with so many. Is there any artist or producer out there, past, present, gospel or not, that you'd love to work with right now, and why?
Man, David Foster is at the top of the list.
Yeah.
Um, always respected his pen, always respected his musical prose. I've always respected his ability to communicate, man. You know, uh, no matter who he was working with, he, it could be Pavarotti one day, and then the next day it could be Whitney Houston,
Hmm.
or it could be Chicago, or it
Hmm.
could be Barbara Streisand,
Sure.
um, or it could be Shaka Khan. Um, for him to be able to morph through all of those different artists, yet still be able to communicate musically, says volumes to me. And so David has always been at the top of the list in terms of
Mm,
producing,
I love
in
that.
terms of art, in terms of artists, man. Whitney was that was one of my tops.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we got a chance to do the "Hold Up the Light" song with her,
With BB and
which was
CeCe,
great.
right?
BeBe and CeCe, yeah,
Yeah.
man. So, and that was great, man. And so, um,
You caught her in her heyday.
probably,
Then she was still doing it
oh,
back.
oh yeah, she was. I get so emotional, baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think of
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was during that time, man. But um, yeah, I would say, yeah, Whitney, David.
Okay.
Of course, before he passed, I did get a chance to sit with Andre Crouch.
Oh,
Um,
legend, legend in the game.
who I call the songwriting muse. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and Marvin Winans is one of my favorites as well. Bishop Marvin
Hmm.
Winans is,
Yeah.
is somebody who I can kind of say he mentored me as a songwriter, man.
Mm.
Because when I was a keyboard player with them, and we would be on the road, and I would always go to him with these new songs, and he would play his song after I played my song, and I'd be like, okay, what am I doing wrong?
Wow.
And
Wow.
but then he would talk to me, and he would ask me certain questions about the song that said, man, he really wanted to help me, and I appreciated it, and I took all of that to heart, man. And I'm grateful to this day, man, that he respects me and calls me one of his favorite songwriters.
Oh man, that's huge. Coming from Marvin, that's big. That's big.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
big,
man.
man. There were so many hits from the Wines. I won't even go into them, but I think my favorite was the question. The question is,
Oh,
will
question.
I ever leave you? Will I do you? Oh, come on, man.
Yeah,
That was the
yeah,
question is
yeah,
no, yes,
yeah.
still.
Yeah, I got a chance to do. I got a chance to do. Um, Love has no color. You're my
Yeah.
brother. With Marvin them
Uh,
wrote that, and with Michael McDonald was on that song.
oh
So
my
you know,
goodness. Wait, let's get one of these for that. Come on. That's
yeah, give it up,
what
give it up, give it up. Yeah,
it Wow,
yeah.
man. Wow. So much has happened in your life, man. So much.
It's
From
been a blessing.
Grammys to Stellar Wars, everything in between. You have probably got a little bit of all of them. Is there an achievement out there that you still like to accomplish that would give you that sense of, okay, I finally made it. This is the one. Is there something out there?
The O, the
Oscar.
Oscar, the
yeah,
Oscar, baby, the Oscar. We want the O, man. You know,
get the O.
I ventured into doing, some film stuff, and man, and this past year, last year actually, I got a chance to do the end credit song for the movie Mahalia Jackson Story. Remember
Oh,
Me, the
okay.
Mahalia Jackson Story. The
Mm,
end credit song featured Donald Lawrence, Lettucey,
mm,
well, Donald Lawrence and Company, Lettucey, and BeBe Winans,
mm.
and got a chance to do that. And the company, the lady that actually directed the film, loved the song so much that they're pulling me in to do some other stuff uh,
Oh,
on some other projects. And so I'm looking forward to doing that, man. You know, my sister had a dream about 2 or 3 years ago. She had a dream, and she said, "Hey, have you?" She woke up, she called me, she said, "Have you won an Oscar yet?" I said, "No." She said, "Well, get ready. I saw you. I had a
come
dream.
on.
You were at the Oscars, and you were getting an Oscar."
Come
And it's
on.
so
Come on,
crazy,
EGOT.
man, because
Come on, EGOT.
yeah, come on,
Emmy,
EGOT,
Grammy,
right?
Oscar, Tony. Come on. You
Yeah,
got them all in there. You got them.
come on, come on, man. It's so crazy because I got a chance to this year, right before NAM, I went to the Artist Expo and got a chance, man, to meet Diane Warren, who's another songwriting hero.
I saw the picture of you and her together, and you said she was so humble and so nice.
So nice, man, so humble. And she like a homeboy, the way she was talking to me, man, was just like, oh, she's somebody you could really kick it with.
right, right.
Uh, but man, just meeting her and knowing her story, the many, many, many nominations for an Oscar, man, and yet it seems to keep eluding her. And so, but just knowing, what she's been through and her story and the songs she's written, man, it just encourages you and lets you know, man, that hey, it's 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 possible. It's not impossible. It is possible, man.
That's what this show's all about, man. Chasing that impossible. It's out
Chasing
there.
the impossible.
It's
That's
out
it.
there. It's out there.
Yes, sir.
And this show talks about people like yourself who have reached them. I want people to always see nothing's really impossible. It may not be right now. It may be the wrong time. Might be the wrong person. Might all the things may not be lining up right now. But if it's meant, it's not impossible. It's not impossible. It really just isn't. We've all seen it happen so many times. So many times. And speaking of that,
Great.
everything you've accomplished in your career, you've done just about all of it. And you said the O was one that's escaping you now. Is there one defining moment that you're most proud of from all that you've accomplished?
Hmm. One defining moment. I could talk about the "I Believe I Can Fly" song.
Mm-hmm.
I could talk about, beating prostate cancer, which is high on my list. But I would say probably my one defining moment would be the year that I was nominated for Song of the Year for the Stellar Awards.
Mm.
And
That
and
was
it
for
was for
Still, right?
that was actually for I Understand.
Mm.
It was a Smokie Norful song that I wrote. And the song was actually never meant to be heard by anybody because the
Wow.
song was written as a conversation between God and I. It was
Wow.
a very personal thing. And
Mm.
Smokie came by and was like, "Man, you got some music? You know, I'm getting ready to record." I played him some records, and none of them really struck him. And so he, "Man, you sure you don't have anything else?" I was like, "Nah." Like, man, well, I got this one thing. I was like, but it's kind of personal, man, and
uh,
I'm not sure it's for, anybody else.
wow.
Man, I played him the first part of the song, the verse and the chorus.
Mm.
He was immediately on his phone calling the record label to tell them, "Hey, I found the
Wow.
song."
Get out.
Yeah,
See how God
but
works, man? See how
yeah,
God
man,
works?
it's crazy. But the defining moment comes, man, when I didn't win that year, but I still went backstage for some interviews.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to this one young lady for an interview, man, and
Mm-hmm.
she said, "Percy Bady, da 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 da. Yeah, you were nominated for Song of the Year, right?" I said, "Yes, ma'am." She said, "What song was that?" I said, "I understand." She said, "Smokie Norful?" I said, "Yes." She immediately dropped her mic and started crying.
What?
And I said, "Did I do something wrong?" She told them to stop recording.
Wow.
She pulled me over to the corner and she said to me, she said, "This song saved my life."
Wow. Wow. Wow.
She said, "You may not have gotten the Grammy. You may the Stellar Award rather." She said, "You may not have gotten it, but know that you saved my life." My
Mm.
dad died. My dad died one morning as I was driving, and I was ready to take my own life
Mm.
after hearing it. My sister called me and told me to listen to this song. Listen to this song.
Mm.
She said, "I played your song literally all day.
Mm.
I played that song." She said, "I still play that song." And
Wow.
as with tears in her eyes, man, she hugged me. She said, "Please know that the work, the songs that you write, these things are really speaking life to people and
Mm.
helping people walk through seasons of their lives that are very challenging. And so
Wow.
thank you so much." She said, "You may not have gotten a Stellar, but you helped save my life." That was a defining moment because it put everything in
That.
perspective.
That is the defining moment of all the things you talked about. Just hearing that gives chills up my spine. That's a defining moment. A
Yes,
song
sir.
that was meant for you to be personal, wasn't supposed to get sung, got picked up, was sung anyway, got nominated for the award, but didn't get it. But it was all written for that moment for the young lady that heard that
For
song.
that young lady,
It
that's
saved
it,
her
man.
life. If it was
Saved
all
her.
for that, then it was all for that.
Yes,
Wow.
sir.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Yes,
Wow.
sir.
That's huge, man. That's huge. That's huge. That's huge. Thanks for
Mhm.
sharing that. Something personal, something intimate. I really appreciate
Oh,
that.
yeah. Yes, sir.
So we have come to the end of this amazing interview because you are always so full
What?
of wisdom, man. I know, I know. I try to keep it to an hour, so I'm always good with my guests. I'm like, I can't keep you longer than an hour. So, I just appreciate you stopping by and sharing. But I got one last final question. We're gonna wrap it up. So, if everybody out there, y'all enjoying everything, has it been a good interview with this man, the legend Percy Bady, giving us some real wisdom? Let's take this last question and bring it on home. As you look forward into the music industry, you're looking forward now, not backwards, not where you are right now, but how it's evolved and where it's going. How do you see your career evolving to match this whole new musical terrain, this whole new thing that's going on with digital and no vinyl and no CDs? And I mean, the whole terrain's just different. Even the sound of music is different. How do you see your career evolving into that space?
Well, man, I think I'm still here. I think the Lord still has me here because He still has work for me to do. Um, but I think as we move forward, man, I think we're actually going to go backwards.
Mm, mm,
And what I mean by that is this: when you go as far as you can go in something, and you go so far away from its original intent, and purpose. Where you do what you do is you end up hitting a wall where what you're doing no longer has any kind of value, and it doesn't work anymore. It doesn't have power. It doesn't connect. It's called it's it's garbage basically. Its value is diminished because its content was not birthed from a real, valid, and honest place. And so I think what we're going to see is people are going to start coming back to wanting songs that have real substance and value to them. I'm talking about across the board. I'm not just talking about gospel.
Okay.
I'm talking about across the board, that we're going to come back to songs that really say something, that really mean something. There's a reason why people still want to listen to Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
There's a reason why people still, Frankie Beverly still does shows throughout the year without a voice. People still singing. He hasn't recorded a record in years. But they still sing those songs. Why? Because the songs resonate.
It's so
They
true.
resonate. They have value for these people. And so I think, man, we're going to end up coming back towards the meter's going to swing back this way. And which means I'll be if God allows me to be here, then I'll play a very significant role in that, because that's who I am. You know, I don't know how to do anything else but create with value. And so I look forward to the day, man, that day and that time, and I'll keep forging and keep pushing for content that speaks to, that is inclusive, but that speaks to people in a very real way. That people feel like, man, that is something that they want to own again, something they want to purchase. Something that they feel like needs to be in their homes and in their cars and so forth, that they need to tell their friends about. I mean, used to be a time when there was a great song, man, and people liked it. They told their friends about it. They called it their song. Oh, that's my jam, my song. That's and even though they couldn't sing it, they would try to sing along with it as well. And so I believe, as we go forward, we're going to go backwards. Everything is circular, man. It's circular. You know what I'm saying? And so we're going to come back to that place.
I miss having the vinyl and opening up the album jacket and reading the lyric.
Stay
I
there,
miss
bro, because vinyl outsold any other product last year.
I believe it.
With
I
the
miss
exception
even
of
having a
premium.
CD because you could open up and see the words. And I used to love to read the credits. Who wrote the track and I miss that whole experience. Like our kids don't have that experience. They just go digital, go to Spotify, listen to it. There's a whole part of the experience that's missing from the music industry now. Like you're saying, I hope they bring it all back because it's missing.
I do too, brother. I do too,
Wow.
and I'm excited about the future, because I believe there's a shift coming. And if you are a content provider, content creator, somebody who really does do that, I believe the day is coming that we're going to get back in those seats, man, of authority
Yeah, man.
and position,
I love it.
and really, really man the ship the way it needs to be manned.
From the wisdom of P. Bady, you heard it here first. We're going backwards to go forwards. We're going to pick it all back up and bring back the Earth, Wind, and Fires, the Stevie Wonders, the Frankie Beverly and Mays, the people that came out and physically played a band instead of just played a track. You had to know your craft. It was all of the experience of seeing a great artist, a great performer do that they do best. We're going back, y'all. I'm coming with you. Coming? Let's make this happen.
I'll be there.
You'll be leading the charge, man. Leading the charge.
Be leading the
Well,
charge,
man,
my brother.
thank you so much for your wisdom you dropped on us today. As always, we've known each other for years, and for me to bring you back after 3 years, it just feels like what were we waiting on? And looking
Thank
forward
you,
to
my
your new tracks, man. Looking forward. If you do have a moment, y'all look up "Love Never Dies" on Spotify. It is out there. All
please do
your
support. Love never dies.
digital
Yeah.
content is out there. Go and check it out. Go listen to it today. Go make sure you support this artist, support this producer who's been doing great work for us all this time. So Love Never Dies, Percy Bady. Any other websites they can or anything they can connect you with, social media? That's how they find you.
You can find me on IG under the official Percy Bady.
Okay.
And the same with Facebook. It's Percy Bady.
Mm-hmm.
Twitter is Bady Percy, and we're working on some other stuff as well.
All right. You
This
heard
is
it
the
here
time to
first.
get.
You heard it here first, man. P, appreciate you taking the time, man. You know we love you here.
Hey man, love you back, D. Thank you for having me, my brother. Looking
Yes.
forward to it, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And for everybody out there that's listening to the last part of the segment, we sure do appreciate you stopping by to spend time with Chasing the Impossible. Like we said here, if you enjoy this kind of content, this positive, encouraging thing, hit us with a like or a subscribe. And of course, hit that share button right now. Let somebody else be encouraged today. And last but not least, we look forward to seeing you next time at the Beautiful Now podcast. Have a great one, guys. Take care. See you next.